Hi guys, welcome back to Sim UK. This is the Honeycomb Aeronautical Bravo Throttle. They sent it in the post today for review purposes, and I'm really excited to get proper involved and test this thing out. I've got to say, on first impressions, I am really quite impressed and even more excited to find out about this device. These switches here are the same as before. The flaps feel absolutely fantastic. And then we've got these dials up the top here for all your navigation and autopilot device setup, etc. And these buttons, which are totally different to anything that were on the yoke, feel really good. I really quite like these. And this is how you adjust it. This is the up and down dial, and everything about it feels fine. Again, we've got an even bigger button here for the autopilot. Now, the trim wheel here is very basic, but actually, I think partly because of its color and style, it looks really, really good. And it took me a few seconds to figure out that these actually have covers on them. These are like rubberized covers, and they just slide on and off. Very simple, nothing complicated there. And it looks as though every single one is identical, and they're super easy to take off, and they're also quite easy to put back on. Now, I know you guys are going to have hundreds, maybe even thousands of questions about this device, and there's no way I'm going to be able to answer them all today. This is just literally about how the levers work, and you can see, I apologize for my camera, but you can see that each of the levers have some digital connections, so they will be communicating with the throttles themselves, with the actual levers themselves, which is quite exciting. I've got to say there, and I'm trying to show in the video, that the detent is really, really very good. And you've got two boxes. You've got the general aviation and the commercial. So we'll start with the general aviation levers. And before I do that, I just want to talk about the resistance knob on the side of the throttle, which you can't see at the moment in the video. And there's a dial on the side here which you twist clockwise in order to tighten the levers, and anti-clockwise in order to loosen them. Now, there's not a massive range that they work in, but there is a noticeable difference. And what I can say for certain is that even on light, it feels really good, and the detents are really good. It doesn't affect the gear lever at all. That's a totally separate device, as you would expect. But each of the levers just feels really nice, actually. They've got a fantastic action on them, and I'm really quite impressed. So jumping on to the general aviation levers, you can see we've got so you've got the mixture levers. You've got two mixture levers. You have two prop levers, and you have two throttle levers. And you can see one of them's got a go around sticker on it. It was at this point that I realised that my second camera was out of focus, so I apologise for that. And very well designed, and they look fantastic. Certainly, eye candy was high up on the list of priorities when they were designing this thing. It looks sensational. It really does. You're going to be so impressed with it. In terms of how robust it's going to be, that's something that I'll have to test over time and see how it goes. But I'm pretty sure that Honeycomb Aeronautical are going to provide these levers in their shop for replacement purposes, should they be required. Or even if you want to change things up and make your own design for something other than flight simulation, then I'm sure they'll be able to accommodate people. So like I say, the action on them is absolutely superb, and the detents, unlike many other devices, are actually very good. For me, they could be a little bit stronger, but this is definitely the best example of a detent that I've ever seen. And to take them off, very simple, just a slight pull and they come off very easily, no issues whatsoever. And you can see that the device itself is sliding about a little bit, and that's because it's actually not flat underneath, it's actually got a bit of a gap, but I'll discuss that in more detail during the review. So moving away from general aviation and into the commercial throttles, and I know a lot of you are going to be very excited about these. So we got the flaps, and we got the air brake lever, and yeah, you can see they're individually identified. These are just pretty standard plastic printed levers. Nothing super surprising about them, but they do look authentic, and yeah, they're pretty robust looking, and I think it's going to add an awful lot to immersion. Certainly from the eye candy perspective, it's going to be a massive improvement over anything that I've ever had before. That's absolutely for certain. So we slot those on in the correct positions. And of course, I don't know whether or not you can put any lever in any position. I haven't actually looked to see if that's the case, but I'm also not sure whether you can put them on upside down. I did try with the general aviation levers, and I it felt like there was resistance, but I want to have a proper look at it. This is a very quickly thrown together video just so you guys can get a look at it, but we'll be looking into that at a later time. Now, this lever is quite interesting, lever number 3, and it shows just how much they've really thought about things. So this one can actually be rotated, and there's a little sticker on here that says it's a 360-degree rotatable knob. And basically, you have engine numbers on each of the levers, and this one has 2. So this one can be used as engine 2 for a 2-engine aircraft, or it can be used as engine 3 for a 4-engine aircraft. It's a really nice example of how this is built by people who really genuinely appreciate the simulation world and the immersion that they want to provide for us here. And obviously lever 4 just slides on the end there. Now, I'm the wrong side. Normally I would expect to be sat in the captain's seat, but I can tell you that even using this on my left hand, it feels fairly, well, actually it feels incredibly good, incredibly realistic. And hopefully it looks pretty good as well. Now, bearing in mind, this isn't attached to my device, so it's sliding about, and I'm sort of awkwardly angled and using the wrong hand. There's a lot of things here that didn't feel quite right, and that's not the device's fault, it's my fault. And obviously we've got the reversers here, and they've got quite a strong spring action on them. I'll try and show you in the video here just how well that springs back. It's really nice. It certainly doesn't feel like you could accidentally engage them. You need to put a bit of effort into reversing them, and equally you won't knock them out of reverse too quickly either. So yeah, very impressed with these. They certainly look the part and they feel the part. And the little red button that's on the side, which I will be investigating once I get it hooked up to my system, hopefully later this evening or tomorrow. I don't know what that's intended for, but as far as buttons go, it feels like a pretty solid button. I'm interested to know what it does. It's a curious looking button. But that's it, guys. Hopefully that's given you an eye-opener to what the levers look like and how they attach to the device. I'm sure you've seen this before on Honeycomb Aeronautical's device, but it always feels different watching somebody else do it than when you do it yourself. So as best as I can, I'm showing you everything, every step that I went into. Like putting it back in the box here, I couldn't quite figure out which way round it went round, but they really have thought about how to protect these and how to keep them safe. And once you finally figure out where it goes, it just fits in this box so well, and you're never ever going to lose them or accidentally damage them whilst they're in there, whilst they're in this fantastic box. It's a great addition. They really have gone above and beyond to try and produce a great product here, and I'm very excited to get my hands on this in anger, let's say. And these plastic covers, again, if you're only using 3 levers, you can close the others off so they don't fill up with dust. Again, talk about attention to detail. They've really thought about this, and they just slide on and then sort of push in and wedge in at the top. Very, very simple, very basic design, but very effective at the same time. And you can see there's a lot of details and stuff on the levers themselves, which is really nice as well. And of course, we've got the annunciator panel, which I can't really show you because it's not plugged in and set up and working. So stay tuned, and I'll be bringing you additional videos using this device. And I'll be trying to address as many of your questions as I can, but I cannot review this device until embargo day. So everything I'm saying today is purely based on my first look perspective and may well change. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. What a device this is. Looking forward to testing it out. Hopefully you'll join me. Thanks for watching. Take care. Goodbye for now.